back to Monday all weekend, everybody. We're here on Monday night, and we've got some topics for you. Some Chosen news, and then also some Christopher Nolan news, and then also we got
Well, listen. Okay.
Moana 2 news.
Okay.
I almost
All
forgot
right.
our other topic.
So Dallas Jenkins has come out. He did a live stream, and he
Yeah.
dropped a bomb on the date for when Chosen season 5 is going to be released.
Yep.
Now,
A couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago at this point. No, I think only a couple weeks.
what are you talking about?
We did a live stream and we mentioned that they were done filming season.
Oh, yes, correct. Yeah. They finished filming, so they got the release date for the theater release of The Chosen. Now, not the date; they have the month. I'll save it. The interesting thing, however, is they are doing something different with the initial rollout, especially with the theatrical thing. All right.
Okay.
So season 4, I went and watched the entire season in theaters. So that means 3 theater visits.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
it did. You had to go theater
Thrice
to
to
theater.
watch the whole season. Now, they're doing something a little different, and we're going to get into all that. But we're also going to be hitting up, we don't usually talk about kids stuff too often. Moana 2. Now, I'll be honest with you, Moana, I have watched so many times at this point
Oh yeah.
because my daughter, she's pretty young, but sometimes she, when she gets tired from playing, like just wants to sit down, she likes watching shows. And I'll put on something that is tolerable, I guess.
Yeah, your daughter likes to kick back, put her feet up, and crack a tall glass of milk, and watch some Moana.
And so I have there's a little bit of production. I wouldn't call it controversy. I would say hiccups. I would say issues, all right, with Moana 2's production. If you don't know the history of it, we're going to get into that a little bit, seeing how Moana 2 is about to come out in theaters this month or next month. And then we're also going to be hitting, I know we just talked about Chris Nolan like 2 weeks ago. We just theorized about what his next movie is going to be. Well, that officially has been overridden. And we actually have some... Well, we actually have some legitimate rumors. There's no official news yet, but some rumors from inside of Hollywood about what his next movie could be about. So it could be, look, I'm not going to say what we discussed tonight could be exactly it. However, it's a little bit more substantiated than our theories that we did 2 weeks ago.
And we also have some actual news regarding actors and things.
Correct. Yes,
that's legitimate news.
A little bit of an update. Everything's pretty light tonight as far as news goes, but
I don't know. I mean, we got some solid,
everything's important. News. Everything's important. However, it's not like bombshell. You know what I mean? No bombshell. So let's go ahead and jump right into The Chosen if you're cool with that. So, new video has been released by Dallas Jenkins that during a live stream, look,
he does.
Dallas
likes to do those live streams.
He likes to go live on YouTube, and then he just drops bombshells, reads people's comments, talks about the Come and See Foundation, cracks a few corny jokes, and then drops some really big Chosen news. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know he is promoting his directorial debut in film.
No, not his debut. He's made films before.
Well, a more substantial, well-known film that's coming out by Lionsgate.
We don't know if it's well-known yet.
Christmas Carol or something.
Best Christmas pageant ever or something.
Pageant, not Carol. But he already has Christmas lights up. I know he's trying to advertise a Christmas film, but that's crazy. Christmas.
He's Christian. Christians don't celebrate Halloween.
That is true. But we got Thanksgiving. We still have Thanksgiving.
So what, you want him to put up a few pumpkins and some fall-looking leaves? No.
Yeah.
It's like official. Thanksgiving is expected to have the Christmas decorations while you're having Thanksgiving. Look, it's a combined Christmas is a month-long holiday. That's just
Go
what
ahead
it is.
and play this video because I have some news. I think if he doesn't mention it himself, on top of what we already have discussed.
Okay, all right. Let's see what he has to say.
Season 5, we are happy to tell you that it is coming to theaters the entire season, not exactly all at once, but you will have a chance during the theatrical release to, at some point, if you want, spend an entire day watching the entire season. So we have more details to come out with you to you about how we're releasing all of these episodes. It is coming to you early April 2025. I don't know exactly if it's the first or second week just yet. We're working out the details, but it will be early April. So mark your calendars for that time. And we're going to give you the opportunity to watch them all at once, or you can watch them in parts. It's going to be great, but it's going to release from early April all the way through the Easter season of 2025. Rejoice and be glad. So I'm going to be hard at work on that. My team's hard at work on that, getting that to you as soon as we can. So isn't that fun? All right, we're going to close with.
All right, that was it.
Fun.
He did a whole live stream and built it around, hey, we got news for The Chosen. Yeah. He did an hour and 33-minute live stream, and that was the big news. He did it in like 40 seconds. Yeah. All right, so I have some thoughts. But go ahead and share what you were going to say.
Also on top of this, I think they are going to be releasing exclusive content, a first kind of look that we have not seen on YouTube or any social medias. I think either after or before his movie, if you go see it in theaters.
Yeah, it's probably going to be before.
But I don't know if it'll be a before thing or after you watch it, like after credits or anything. But They have made that announcement too on top of this.
Yeah. I have some thoughts about this. So right off the bat, we have to get this out of the way. During the rollout of season 4, I went to the theaters and I watched it. All right. Yes. And I did a review video that happened to go viral for us. Viral for us means 200,000 views. Okay.
Almost 300 at this point.
No. Well, you did a short from it, but this is an actual video. All right. A full length review video of The Chosen season 4. And I got so many comments, so much more exposure, so many more people asking this question. When is it going to be out? Is it on the Chosen app? How did you watch it? It seems to me like a lot of people didn't fully understand that it will come out on the Chosen app for free. But if you want to watch it on this date, early April of 2025, you have to go to the theater
to watch
because it's going to do its theater rollout, and then it'll do its app rollout, right? And I know season 4 was delayed because of the
Angel Studios,
issues, right?
All that, but now they have 5 and 2 Studios is going to be, I guess, backing it.
It's still the Chosen.
It's still the Chosen app, but it's 5 and 2 Studios.
I'm theorizing they're not going to rebrand the Chosen app into 5 and 2 until season 7 of The Chosen is finished. They might pull the trigger early, but I think they've been pushing the Chosen app so hard. They don't want people to be confused, and they want to make sure that as many people watch the show in completion. Whereas if they change the app and call it 5 and 2 Studios,
I don't know.
Before The Chosen is complete, then people might not be able to find the app because they don't know what they're looking for.
Didn't they do an update like between season 2 and 3 when it started getting more popular? I almost remember
it's been the Chosen app the whole time.
But they've made some updates. I'm almost positive between those seasons where they changed a few things, and it was confusing because I almost remember them changing like the app icon or something, and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, so they used to have like a picture of the faces, you know what I mean? Like the original poster, the black and white photos. And then there was the whole Angel Studios thing. And like, do I watch it on their app or do I watch it on the Chosen app? And then I realized a couple days ago that I was signed up for Angel Studios to watch it for free, like a free account with Angel Studios. And I didn't actually have a sign in for the Chosen app, even though I've been watching stuff on the Chosen app. So I don't know if like they lost a bunch of sign-ins when they had to convert everything off of Angel Studios into the Chosen. I have no idea the details of it. All I know is that my email that I've been using for a couple years now to watch the Chosen for free no longer worked on the Chosen app, and I had to re-sign up. But with all of that said, if you want to watch it in April, you're going to have to do the theater thing. Now, he said it will be rolling out through Easter, so it's very possible that the waiting period might be a week. You know what I mean? Or 2 weeks from the theater release.
Yeah, it seems like they're it very much sounded like when the way he was saying it is you can watch it in bits, pieces like they did last time, or you can do a 1-day event type thing. And I'm assuming, I don't know this is true, but I'm assuming the 1-day event is probably going to be like multiple times, like maybe they'll do it like a Saturday, Sunday, or a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type thing.
Probably.
Or where like they'll play it 3 times, the whole season 3 times on one weekend.
Yeah.
Where you'll have 3 opportunities to go see it. Otherwise, you won't be able to.
I'm going to be honest with you. Even if, obviously, the price ticket will probably be higher because you're watching a full season, they might charge a lot. They might charge a good bit more, but I don't think they'll charge the cost of 3 separate showings. You know what I mean?
No.
So I'm just gonna freaking, I don't know. I am going to watch it all at once. It's just what I'm going to do.
It's a long day, though.
It's more preferred for me to watch it all at once and to bring my notepad and take notes. You know what I mean? Than to go on 3 separate occasions, and they'll have intermissions. You can go get, a drink refill. You can go pee, whatever. And it'll be like, I don't know how long, 8 hours worth of content.
They're about an hour long a piece and however many episodes. Let us know, for the people who are watching the live stream, would you prefer to watch it go 2 or 3 times to the theater, or just sit
at a theater for like 10 hours?
Or like 5 hours even if it's only 5 episodes. Would you stay there for 5 hours to watch the whole season at once, or would you like it to be broken up into 2 sessions?
It's probably going to be at least 8 or 9 hours, right?
Oh,
to watch 8 episodes.
It probably will be more than 5, but I'm just saying 5 is like the minimum that they would probably do. But I imagine, it's going to be more.
There's been a whole slogan with the Chosen called Binge Jesus, right? And that binge Jesus at the theater for what, you know what I mean? Like, that's that binge at the theater. That's like a whole new meaning to the word, the phrase binge Jesus. So let us know what you guys are planning on doing and what you prefer. This is something new. It seems like each season that gets rolled out, there's something new that's being presented in the distribution of the show or that season. And last season, season 3, we had episodes 1, 2, and 3 in theaters, right?
Yes.
That's all that was planned. And then it was such a success. They said, all right, we're going to do the end of the show. So the last 2 episodes, we're going to put those in theaters like right before the release of the free versions on the app, right?
So we just had a first comment. I love binging, but 5 hours is a long time to commit in one day.
That's longer than like the 10 Commandments, right?
Oh,
it's longer than the 10 Commandments. You got to get a buddy, or you just need to like commit.
Or you just be a lonely single person and just spend your whole day. You have to get yourself a large popcorn and a large drink. The ones that you can refill, so you can refill them like.
Do they do refills at theaters?
For the I'm at least for Regal theaters or AMC theaters. Hold
on though.
The large you can refill.
But hold on. Who wants to refill a large? Like a large drink, like a Coke, is already so bad for you. That much Coke. And then
That
to
much
say we're
sodium
gonna
would be great.
refill, and all you're doing is sitting on your butt reclined. You know what I mean? Like you're not even
Oh,
moving. You're gonna
right.
walk out of there with a diabetic foot. I wouldn't recommend doing the large refills for 5 or 6 hours straight.
This makes me think of a funny story. On Sunday, my church, they have, they're a larger church, so they have that coffee shop type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And I get there, I get myself a free cup they offer, and they also have, you can buy specialty drinks and stuff like that, but you can get free coffee. I got myself one. Well, right before the service started, my wife went and got another cup, and she's like, "This has real milk in it." I told him to put almond milk. You want it? And I started drinking it. And in the middle of the service, after 2 cups, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I was a
You had 2
latte
cups of
plus,
coffee, man.
well, yeah, like an espresso and a cup of coffee. I'm like, I can't do
This
this.
is what I think. Look, I know the theater experience is fun, and it's definitely gonna be a really cool experience, but this might be the only chance that you get to binge Jesus all day in one theater, because this seems like a bad idea, honestly, and so I feel like in the next season, they might not do it again. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we'll see. That's why they're doing the option of both, so people
Yeah.
can watch either in broken up or in one session.
But okay, we've said this a bunch. This is The Chosen could literally be making a playbook for the industry to start oh goodness. To start doing theatrical releases for popular shows.
Yeah,
what you were doing
it's
out there.
definitely like they're definitely. It feels like a YouTuber who is they're almost like testing the thumbnail.
Yeah.
They're definitely like, oh, is this gonna work? So they test it out. If it doesn't, then they won't do it next time. Or
Well, have we ever seen like examples outside of The Chosen of TV shows, episodic shows being released into
in
theaters? Have we ever seen that before?
I don't think so.
Exactly. That's what I'm
No, I
saying.
don't think so.
This will be round 3 of most likely a very successful theatrical run for an episodic TV show. And so what I'm saying is it's really going to possibly change the dynamic of the entertainment world, because streaming shows is very enjoyable. People are really getting into shows. Think of right now on Max, you have the Penguin show that's very popular, right? Imagine saying, okay, it's going to come out in Max, but in August, right? It started rolling out a few weeks ago. In August, we're going to do a 3-week
Theater run?
theatrical run. That's an option for the industry to capitalize on 3 weeks of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For people to sit and binge 2 episodes or 3 episodes at a time, these TV shows, because they're very cinematic. They can play well in a theater.
But also, like, I think where The Chosen is different from that is you go to Max because it's exclusive content for that app. So you pay for a subscription for that app to watch the exclusive content. Where The Chosen, yes, it's exclusively on the Chosen app, and
But
then
it's
it
free.
won't be, but it's free. So
Gotcha.
I think it's different than something
It's
that you
different
buy a
because if
subscription
someone
for.
watches in theaters, then they won't get their streaming money, right?
Yeah, it's definitely marketed different.
Whereas they want people to get that subscription so they can charge the card every month. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably more valuable to them and more business-wise. It's more stable than theatrical releases. However, there is stuff that goes to like, I think short term. So like if there's a popular show that gets removed from a streaming service, I think it would be cool to say experience Stranger Things 1 in theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just do a run. Like
That would be
Netflix
fun.
could start doing that and being like, "Hey, have you been thinking about rewatching Stranger Things 1 because of how cool and fun it was?" Now you can do it in the theaters in the same way that they do like with The Lord of the Rings. Every couple years, they tend to do a theatrical release for Lord of the Rings again and stuff. So
I wouldn't be surprised if this does start kind of a you know,
a trend to
yeah, a
test.
trend to test this because of, you know, AMC, Regal, theaters in general are trying to be more creative about their showing to get people in the theater because people aren't in there as much as we've
Right.
discussed in several episodes. But, well, that's the chosen news.
But we got some more Moana news. We got some Chris Nolan.
Yeah,
news
do we
we'll
have?
talk
We want to
about.
go Chris Nolan, or we want to go Moana?
Yeah, let's go Moana next. Okay, so Moana 2, if you guys are if you have kids, if you have grandkids, whatever
Mhm.
you are, if you are a Disney person, if you're an animated person, or if you've seen Moana and
Mhm.
you kind of enjoyed it. I said at the top of this that I've seen this show so many times, all right? And with Moana 2, it's not necessarily, in my opinion, a bad business move because Moana 1 is pretty good as far as a
This
kid's
is
movie
good.
goes. The music is good. I enjoy it. There's a lot of intolerable Disney stuff out there. Moana's not one of them, in my opinion. But there's a little bit of a controversy, a little bit of an issue, a little bit of a hiccup. All right. So I want to ask, can Moana 2 be successful? Can it work after what Disney did? All right. And let's get into exactly what Disney did. So, with Moana 2, November 27th, Disney Animation made the unprecedented move to expand its TV spinoff originally intended for Disney Plus into a movie sequel.
Mhm.
This made total sense, especially in light of Moana becoming the most popular animated movie on Disney Plus, which technically 2D animation is animation. You know what I mean? And I already know
It's semantics. It's
Bluey is the most popular.
yeah, but that's they saying the
That's not
popular
Disney,
movie.
right?
That's a show.
It's a show. All right.
That
Yeah,
this is a
sure.
movie, the most
They
popular
got to
movie.
get so specific. The most popular animated movie on Disney Plus. Like,
Yeah, makes sense.
you gotta get specific. All right. So after studio executives viewed some promising early footage, they realized that they were selling the franchise short and that there was an opportunity for a potential
Mhm.
blockbuster hit in 2024. This would make up for last year's underperforming Disney films. All right. So like Wish, right? So Wish was supposed to be their 100-year big movie that completely
Yeah.
flopped in theaters.
Does this fit under the 2.5 movies a year?
That's Pixar. This is Disney. It's
Okay,
2
okay. So
different things.
this doesn't
You
fit
got
on that.
Disney, Pixar, and you have Disney.
Yeah. So we've seen this before. We've seen this happen before. We saw this with Tarzan and Jane. We saw this with I can't think of the other movie, but they're definitely the second Cinderella movie. I don't know.
That was supposed to be a show?
Yes. Do you remember Tarzan and Jane, the second Tarzan movie that Disney
Yeah.
made? It was Tarzan and Jane's anniversary, and it almost became an episodic stories. Do you remember this?
No. That was a while ago, dude, right?
Okay, a while ago, but it was Tarzan telling stories of um their life,
Okay.
and that was supposed to be a show. But they didn't. They decided not to make it into a show, and they made it into a movie, Tarzan and Jane, where it almost became like shorts because they were telling stories. And it's the same thing with the second Cinderella movie that they made way back in the day, in like the early 2000s. There was a Cinderella movie where
How
it
do you
was supposed to
remember
be a
this,
show
dude?
because I'm the movie. This is my
Yeah.
job. I do this for a living.
No, you
Not for a living,
don't.
but I do this on a live stream. I know this stuff.
Okay.
If you guys know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. Cinderella 2. I don't remember what the film was called, but it was supposed to be an episodic show that was
But
supposed
what
to be
were they
released.
gonna put the show out? Was it like Disney Channel or something? Was that what their plans were?
I guess so. Or they were supposed, or just like still at that point, they were doing DVDs, I think, by then. So maybe a cassette tape where you had like 3 or 4 DVDs where it was episodic things, and it wasn't going to be like a film. Disney has done this for quite a while where they backtrack and they're like, a movie will be more profitable. Why
Right.
they backtrack and make it so
Well,
it's a movie and not a show, I don't know what their metrics are. I
okay,
don't know what
so
the
let
back
me
end of
read
why
a
they
little bit
say
more,
that.
and then we'll do some discussion here.
Okay.
The premise is the same. Executive producer and new chief creative officer Jared Bush told IndieWire, Moana receives this call from her ancestors for something very important that she doesn't quite understand, being asked to head out beyond the seas farther than anywhere she's ever been to ensure the future of her people. I'd say the only thing that we did was add way more epicness to the story. So, so basically, they're saying they're keeping the same structure of what they originally wrote, okay, for a show. So 4 episodes. So they're following this overarching journey. I guess if you've seen the trailer, there's some more in this article and other articles I've read. It seems like she's trying to unite other island tribes because they're all one people, but they've been separated by the ocean. Okay.
So
So
my
she's
guess,
going out to like unite their people so that, and she's going to have Maui's help and all that. But that's the overarching story, but the journey is more episodic, right? So
yes. So
there's going to be little adventures inside of this journey, right?
it's gonna feel very much like, oh, what she just did to go get that tribe could be its own episode. It's probably gonna feel very much
Or
like that.
they might get
I
captured by those little coconut pirates because they're in the trailer, and she has to escape them and get back to her boat and continue on her journey.
Yeah.
That would be an episode, but instead it's going to be like a 15-minute or 10-minute section of the movie, right?
Yeah. I hope that is what it is, and we're actually seeing it in real time because, like I said, when they've done this before, it has been like storytelling, if that makes sense. Where
It just feels like individualized adventures smushed together.
yes,
Right?
but I hope it's not like her telling these adventures to her. What is it, like her little sister? Is that who's in the trailer? I don't
Yeah,
know.
she's got like this is supposed to be like 3 years after the events of the first movie, 3 or 4 years, and so I think she's got a little 3-year-old sister in this one now. Her parents had an extra little girl.
And yeah, and I hope she's not like telling these stories to her, and that's what the episodic things are because they've done that before. And don't repeat what you've done before.
It doesn't seem like she's going to be telling a story. No, it seems
No,
like
it doesn't feel like that either. No.
seems like the sister is not on the adventure with her, but the sister's a big part of the show. That's what it seems like. Or a show. It's literally written as a show and then reworked into a movie and adding more epicness. I'm just doubtful of this because I think Disney recently hasn't put out bangers, and Moana and Kanto was kind of like the last good animated stuff they did. Wish really flopped. A couple of the other Disney Pixar stuff really flopped the past few years, like Lightyear and Strange World or whatever that one is called. And
I mean,
besides
2 was good.
besides Inside Out, but that's still, Disney Pixar, and it's building off of that one, the first one. So
Well,
this has a
movie building off the
potential.
first one too.
This
Yeah.
has potential to be good. However, if it feels bad, which I don't know, it's a kids movie. It doesn't. So the consequence that we've had with theater movie experiences recently is the Joker 2 example, the Folie à Deux. It's if people show up for the first opening weekend and they don't like it, word gets around and no one shows up the next weeks. You know what I mean? Joker 2 has record-breaking second, third, fourth week drop-offs. So a ton of people showed up for the first week. Everyone said it's the worst, it's horrible, and no one came back to the theater. So they I think they just crossed in week 4 or 5, however many weeks it's been.
Yeah.
They just crossed their baseline budget. So they haven't even got to their marketing budget of money earned back yet. You know what I mean?
Whew.
So their theatrical run has really made a stink. And it's not always the case with kids movies because The parents don't have to like it,
And the kids
and
like,
they could be critical of it, but if the kids want to watch it, you're just gonna kind of let the kids watch it, and take
yeah,
them to.
and you don't
So
always. There's a dime a dozen adult movies, but when a kid movie comes around, the kids are gonna watch it because there's not a ton of them.
I'm just saying, like, this has potentially going to make what is supposed to be a movie feel off. Like the vibe is going to be off, right?
Yeah,
And it's not going to have the magic of the first one. I'm pretty positive of, just because it wasn't written to be a movie. I think
yeah.
that's a big part of it. So with all that, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. I really appreciate the discussion there, especially if you like the movie or you have kids who watch Moana, and we can discuss there.
Yeah.
But let's get to the last
Nolan.
bit. Chris Nolan. Okay. So we talked about this a few weeks ago. We gave personal theories, or at least I did somewhat, about what Christopher Nolan's next movie would be about. And I brought up an old interview where he discussed things, and I leaned into the idea of saying, like, hey, he is paying attention to AI and he has a lot of thoughts about it. And I presented the idea that AI might be the launching pad, the baseline concept for what his next movie might be about. And then I saw some people liked it. Some people said interesting. Some people left comments on that video and said, I think I remember an interview where he said he has no interest in telling an AI movie right now.
Yes.
And I said, I haven't seen that. Could you please send me a reference? Because if you know where he said that, I'd love to see it. They couldn't provide one, at least in the comments. So I'm holding out the idea that at some point he might actually do an AI film. However, it seems like that theory might not be very strong based on rumors that's happening right now. So
what
let's
did they
just tease
say?
this. Look, it's very possible, based on rumors inside the industry, that Chris Nolan's next movie might be about vampires.
Ooh. Do you think it's going to be an original story about vampires, or?
I think it'll be Chris Nolan. I think it'll be. I think they said it might be based during the 1920s or the 1820s. I'm not sure. Oh,
Is he going to do like a Dracula thing? Because what I said,
I think it'll be an original story.
What I said when we talked about Chris Nolan last time was, Chris Nolan does this thing where he makes original content and then he makes his version of an already existing topic. Batman, for example. He'll do something like Tenet, then he'll do Batman, then he'll do something that's not original, and then he'll do his original. Yeah, and then his original. So yes, he's creating the script and all that stuff, but he's not coming up with an original idea because he doesn't have an original idea, which his last film was not an original idea. Oppenheimer was an existing thing. Even though he had to write the script and he did a lot with it, he didn't write his own
He did the
script.
adaptation from the book,
Yes.
American Prometheus, I believe.
I said this was going to be original idea, but if it's like, his version of Dracula, then no, that's not an original.
No, it's not. It wouldn't be an original. Okay, so the other piece of news is Tom Holland. Tom Holland had a big week as far as news.
Yeah.
He signed up for a Spider-Man 4 film that's going to be coming out in 2026.
Or he announced that he signed.
A contract with Marvel to do another Spider-Man film after being kind of out of the limelight for the past year and a half. And then now he's also reportedly the second actor to be in a Chris Nolan film, with Matt Damon being the lead as right now. So this is going to be a Matt Damon film, but to whatever extent, usually there's a lot of characters, a lot of actors involved in Chris Nolan films. So Tom Holland will be in there.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the side character in Inception to Leonardo DiCaprio, but Leonardo DiCaprio and Joseph Levitt-Gordon was in the movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or in Oppenheimer, you have Robert Downey Jr. to Cillian Murphy, right? the kind of the antagonist / protagonist kind of back and forth thing. So we'll see what becomes of that. However, I am interested in diving into this. So apparently back in February, there was a couple reports that Nolan had done an interview. I saw Variety write an article on it. I saw a couple other people back in February of this year that Chris Nolan had expressed the idea that he's very interested in doing a horror film. Okay.
Yeah.
Not to say he was going to do one, just to say he likes the idea of it because it's a challenging field, especially for big budget filmmaking. We've talked about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does typically very large budget films because he shoots 70 millimeter IMAX. And that's expensive. It's really expensive. And so on top of that, he also said that the industry can be a bit finicky about horror films. Sometimes they'll be greenlit, sometimes they won't. Interestingly enough, he's with Universal now, and Universal has horror movies.
Yeah.
He was with Warner Brothers for a long time. Now he's doing with Oppenheimer in his next film. He's with Universal.
When I think of Warner Brothers, I think of Christopher Nolan. Like, that's
but
what
he's not anymore. He's not Warner Bros.
Yeah.
I think Tenet was his last Warner Brothers film, I believe, unless that was also Universal. I can't remember. So let's see if this has any. Let me read exactly what it says. So since Universal announced it was re-teaming with Nolan, fans everywhere have been speculating, us included, about the nature of the film. One rumor is that it's a horror movie. Another is that it's a helicopter action movie like 1983's Blue Thunder. And the Hollywood Reporter story about Holland's casting writes, the setting is not present day. Okay. So it's a period piece. That's good. I don't think we've seen, well, I guess Oppenheimer was a period piece. Okay, never mind. I was going to say The Prestige, to bring up The Prestige, because that was a horror film. Although it's unclear whether it is set in the past or the future. Future might be AI. I don't know. We get back to that. We have heard 2 of those could potentially be true. IO9, which is internal to this article. I guess it's a sub something. I tried to Google it earlier. I didn't quite understand it, but it has to do something with this report.
What does it say?
IO9 got word from a reliable source that Nolan's film is a vampire movie set in the 1920s.
Reliable source would
that's all hearsay. That is all that could literally be somebody.
His reliable source was this homeless guy was like, psst, you hear about Christopher Nolan?
And here's the thing, a lot of the big news outlets like Variety and Hollywood Reporter won't report on it because it is not concrete information. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
So this is Gizmodo, whatever that is, right? That this is where this is coming from. And Gizmodo is saying that IO9, which I think is internal to Gizmodo, got word from a reliable source that Nolan's film is a vampire movie set in the 1920s. If it's vampire, it would make sense that it's going to be in the horror genre, right?
Yeah.
It would make sense. Let's see. What else did they say? We know what you're thinking. It's Ryan Coogler already making that. Isn't Ryan Coogler already making that movie? Okay, whatever.
Which this is weird because Christopher Nolan, as much as like Inception is not reality, if you aren't going into people's brains, into their dreams, there is an aspect where he has never done like how would I say this? I don't know. Like humans. He's never done this kind of stuff. The closest thing he did was Batman, but it's Bruce Wayne dressing up like a bat. It's not an actual bat, you know?
Yeah. They pose an interesting question here. All right. Let me read this. They say, let's be honest, though. We all want this rumor to be true, right? We want to see Matt Damon and Tom Holland in long flowing coats ripping out people's throats in 70 millimeter IMAX with your seat shaking from the huge Hans Zimmer score. They're not wrong, if I'm being honest. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. But that there's also the element of it. honestly, I know Nolan gets a lot of criticism. They say Tenet takes the concept too far. They say Interstellar's sound mixing was all off. I could barely hear it. You know, different
Mhm.
stuff like that. There's a lot of criticism for Nolan, but at the end of the day, people kind of like his movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when he's shooting on 70 millimeter IMAX is super fun. If he's doing Batman, he's telling the story about Oppenheimer. He's telling a fictitious story about people entering dreams or going into black holes in space. Like, we're kind of here for all of it because we're here
We
for
are.
Chris Nolan,
We're
aren't
here.
we? Right?
Yeah.
And so if he wants to do a horror flick with vampires, I'm here for it. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's my first choice, but I'm definitely not opposed to it.
It doesn't feel like Christopher Nolan, but I trust Christopher enough to let him do his thing because everything he's made, I've been pleased with to an extent.
Have you seen? You saw Tenet, right?
Yeah. I'm the one who had a lot of qualms with Tenet, and
Okay.
as much as I have my qualms, I'll accept it for a Christopher Nolan film. I just think, so I will let him do his thing with this and accept that it's probably not going to be cheesy. It's probably not going to be bad. It will be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
As long
I think
as
it'll be great.
my only qualms I've ever had with Christopher Nolan and his films is not that it's cheesy, not that it's not engaging, it doesn't feel good. The only thing I've ever had a problem with Christopher Nolan is
Mhm.
his stuff is too high concept to where it's not a good movie. And we've talked about this over and over again where you have to have something grounding you in reality, like a small thing you can kind of grasp to follow it, and then have your high concept that makes you feel like you're understanding the film, and that is what makes it interesting. And I think his problem is he makes it too high concept, but this is just me nitpicking at Christopher Nolan. This is not,
Okay.
things.
On that interview I brought up a few weeks ago,
Okay.
I want to try to find it because this is last minute, so I might bounce around. But this guy asks Chris Nolan about that same thing, about what do you say to people who might have a criticism if your film is too high concept, right?
Okay.
So let me play around and see if I can find
ask
this.
you a series of questions.
Was done a lot.
Where
This
is
complex virtual world, illusion and reality merge, putting his life and the fate of humanity at risk.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find the future terrifying?
I would love to find this question, and I didn't
Afraid of
prepare this
death.
ahead of time.
Yes.
Could you have a TikTok?
So the lack of a budget and the subject matter we're in
C'est bien possible.
to the scale of the consequence out
The
that
context
risk.
was, of course,
The
very.
context is very important. They felt that this was something that absolutely needed to happen.
Okay, I'm not going to find it in this interview somewhere. I don't want to sit here and try to find it for people. In this interview, he basically says, if the concept is very high, don't try to understand it all in its entirety. And I'm paraphrasing, but he says, just feel it. That's what he says. He says, don't try to understand it always, just feel it. And when you approach some of his movies like Tenet, that's very difficult to follow, right? Because of the concept being so high. Try watching it and saying, I'm not going to try to sit here and pay attention to every little scientific thing they say in the movie or try to understand and be like, does this make sense? Like, just feel the emotion, feel the way the scenes are presented, feel the way the music brings you on the journey, and feel the ramifications of if something like this existed, what would happen, and then go with it. And maybe there's an element too when he's creating such a high concept, he pushes himself past the idea of, I got some holes here. I really like this concept, but I see some holes, but I don't want that to stop me. I just want to go for it. And so he ignores the holes and goes for it, right? And I think that that's partly his answer is like, in some way he might just want you to experience it and stop trying to fully understand it. I'm not going to say that's across all of his films, but like probably the ones he gets criticism for on being a little too high concept, like Tenet, might be the case.
Okay, well, I've beaten this horse completely dead. I've taken a baseball bat out and then beat it again, and then I got mad at it. Took my golf club out and beat it again.
Okay.
So I'm not going to touch this with the 10-foot pole.
I got a recommendation for everybody before we go.
Okay,
Got a big old recommendation. Watch The Penguin on Max. If you have it,
Oh, okay.
The Penguin is so good.
Yeah.
Have you been watching it, Joshua?
No.
It's the best show all year.
Yeah. I got to finish The Chosen season 4, and then The Penguins maybe on that list.
Dude,
Yeah.
it is one of the best shows. The Penguin is better than House of the Dragon season 2.
I have heard that. I have heard that they were talking about it today on Bad Friends. So,
well, Bad Friends is not. They don't necessarily have good taste. Bobby does act in that one Sex and the City spinoff show, so they don't have great taste in movies.
He said that it was the best show that's come out in a long time, and
he's not wrong.
That might nudge me to watch a couple episodes and take a peek at it. I'll peek.
You don't have to peek, dude. You just got to sit and watch it, man. It is probably, I'll say this. I really enjoyed House of the Dragon season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I haven't felt this kind of connection and excitement during an episode since like Game of Thrones season 6, right?
Okay.
Or Game of Thrones season 7. There was some stuff in season 7 that kind of was good and bad, but the good stuff in season 7 got me really excited because we were reaching big moments in the story, and I haven't just felt this. Like, it's just really good. It's got me, it's grabbed me, and it's gotten a hold of me. Show, The Penguin, has gotten a hold of me, man.
Do we need to file a restraining order? And
I'm just saying the amount of quality that and just beautiful storytelling that the Penguin has put into this show as being a bridge to the Batman Part 2 that's going to be coming out later, right? The sequel to the Batman. This is the bridge. This is the story of the Penguin.
What kind of bridge are we talking about? Like a rainbow bridge? Or are we talking about like
about a literal bridge? You have the Batman. This picks up right at the end of Batman.
Okay.
Or Penguin picks up right literally days after the city was flooded that you saw at the end of the Batman.
What as of this live stream going out, are we almost done with the season? Okay, how many more episodes?
I don't know. I don't know if there's 8 or 10. I don't know. They typically do 8 these days.
Let's assume it's 8. So yeah, it's about.
It feels like we're getting close to the end. It feels like we're getting close to the end.
It's time for me to jump on board. Let's end this live stream. Thank you for joining us on Monday All Weekend. If you had anything you wanted to add to with The Chosen, with Moana, or with Christopher Nolan, put it in the comments down below. Let us know. We'll review your comments. We'll get back to you and talk about it because we would like to hear your thoughts on things we talk about. So,
all right. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe to the channel. We love you. We'll see you next time.